I want to invite your attention to the Gospel of John, the 9th chapter, verses 21. And it reads, "But by what means he now seeth, we know not, or who hath opened his eyes, we know not. He is of age, ask him, he shall speak for himself." I want to talk from the theme, I am a man. I first saw this saying, these words, this expression in 1968. I was 9 years old, young lad of a boy growing up in Sandusky, Ohio. One of my heroes, one of my favorite preachers, civil rights leader, prophet, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had gone to Memphis to march and to protest with sanitation workers who had gone on strike because two African-American men had died because they couldn't take shelter. They couldn't ride inside of the cabin of the sanitation truck. They couldn't find shelter inside the building, and they were lightning struck their truck as they were hiding in, and it hit the on button, the lightning did, and both of these men were eaten up by the trash or the sanitation truck. They went on strike for better pay and better working conditions, and many who had marched with Dr. King told him not to go to Memphis. It wasn't worth going. But Dr. King, he was a hero of humanity, and especially those who had been disenfranchised and those who had been reduced to second-class citizens. And so he went, and the first time they marched, it was interrupted by looting and robbing and rioting. And when they spoke about what had transpired, two young men had told Dr. King they were paid to do so, to upstage the boycott and the strike and the protests. And Dr. King went back to Memphis, and some say he shouldn't have went. They were getting ready for the Poor People's Campaign march on Washington, but he did go. And that's when April the 4th, 1968, Dr. King was assassinated on the motel, the Lorraine Motel, where he died. And so what stood out in the protests and the rioting, those men were wearing signs saying, "I am a man," and they had to put it in writing. And here we are in 2020, we're still saying to America and to the world that I am a man. I'm more than 3/5 of a man. I am a man. And so we look at the Gospel of John. Jesus is going into a place, into a city where he and his disciples, and they encounter this man, and the man is blind, and he's reduced to a second-class citizen. And that's what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about I am a man. I want to look at 4 things that's a part of the overall structure of this sermon, I am a man. I want to look, first of all, at a blind man. Secondly, we want to look at a believing man. Thirdly, we want to look at a broke man. And fourthly, we want to look at a brave man, a blind man. This man, when you look at the text, the Bible says that Jesus encountered the man with his disciples, and they asked Jesus, Master, who did sin? Did this man sin or his parents? And Jesus responded to them and said, neither have this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. And what Jesus was saying, that no sin was committed, no fault of his parents, no fault of this man. He was born blind because he had a date with destiny. God had an encounter with that which he had embodied in the flesh, meaning that Jesus came down here as God in the flesh, and this man who was blind, who had never seen before, would eventually see God for himself. And so the first thing that we look at a blind man, we look at a blind man from birth, that he had never seen before, coming out of his mother's womb. He was blind at birth. Even his tears were tears from blind eyes. And yet, Jesus take the time to educate his disciples, to let them know, not because of sin. And I want to stop right there, because a lot of times people think because stuff happened to you, it's because you've done something wrong, that you sinned, you messed up. And that's the problem that Job friends had with him. They were talking about Job, you had to do something wrong, you had to mess up, because God wouldn't do this to you. And God had to tell them later on that Job had not sinned, but Job was on trial because he was a trophy in my case. And I wanted, say they wanted to try somebody that I recommend. And I recommended Job. And Job came out as pure gold. And sometimes people want to put labels on you and lump you in certain categories. But just because you got hard time don't mean that you sin. But not only does it say not because of his sin, watch this. The blind man is noticed because of society. Well, how do society know him as a blind man? How do society know Eric Garner as a black man that was strangled to death? How does society know George Floyd as a breathless man who is black? And now Brother Brooks was shot in the back, and he's a black man. And what is it that the black man has done to cause society to look at him and notice only his skin color? They never check out his character. They never witness his conduct. They never look at his accomplishments, but they just look at him as black. And black has a disdain and derogatory meaning. But not only do I see a blind man, I see a believing man. Oh yes, he's blind, but he's a believing man. Watch this. Jesus says to him, don't even ask him, do he want to see Jesus? When he had spoken, he spat on the ground, made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with clay. Now, that blind man could have been a cussing man like some of us are, and would have said, Jesus, what in the Hades are you putting spit and dirt on my eyes? I'm already blind. I can't see. Why are you going to put dirt and spit on my... He didn't say a mumbling word. Then he heard Jesus and obeyed Jesus' voice and went and washed in the pool of Siloam. Now, how do a man who can't see, who's blind, but yet with dirt and spit on his eyes, mud on his eyes, find a pool to wash his face. Well, I want to tell you this, beloved, because he displayed his faith. That's what we see in the believing man, a display of faith. He showed himself, because real faith ain't what you can see. See, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. He didn't see it, but he believed it. And so he went and washed in the pool. And the Bible said that he sent his way therefore and washed and came seeing. Meaning that not only do we see a display of faith, but we see a demonstration of faith. Faith without works is dead. He put the water, washed the clay off his eyes, and came back seeing. Ain't that a blessing today? That faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. See, we walk by faith, not by sight. But also now, we see a broke man. Never worked a job, never got any welfare. All he was getting was handouts, asking for alms, asking for change. And he was broke. But watch this. Watch this. He was begging to make a living. He had to rely on others to do it. But now he has a breakthrough to a new life. Now he don't rely on others to make a living. Now he relies on the Lord for his life and for his living. All I'm saying, beloved, that God will make a way out of no way. God will supply every need you have. And God will give you more than enough. Matter of fact, God will bless you according to his riches in glory. Every need you have, he will supply. And every now and then, he'll give you the desires of your heart. Yeah, he was broke. There is a story about a man in Washington, D.C. He was a wino. And he would be in front of liquor stores begging for 50 cents, a quarter, a dime, a dollar. And one evening, instead of going buying the liquor, he decided to buy a lottery ticket. One of the big games like Powerball, Mega Millions. And he went and played, and he didn't write the numbers down, so just give me an automatic ticket. And he played and won over $200 million. He left from being a wino, standing on the street corner begging for alms, to a multi-millionaire. And one day his life was changed. Beloved, God can change your life in a matter of minutes. In a second he can. But not only do I see a broke man, but I see a brave man. Look at the text, verse 21, and I'm almost done. But by what means he now seeth, this man was a brave man. Why do you say that, Dr. Cage? Because first of all, they bring him before the council, the Pharisees, and they want to discredit the miracle. They want to discredit the authenticity that this man was blind. And his parents, they brought the young man's parents and say, are you all sure he was born blind, that it wasn't a hoax? And they said, well, no, we do know he was born blind. And he was blind the last time we saw him. But now, just like you, we witnessed that he has his sight. But they say, don't take it from us. He's grown. He can speak for himself. And that's verse 21. And the first thing he does is share his testimony. He tells them exactly what he has told them in the past. All I know, this man named Jesus, he spat on the ground. He made spittle. He put it on my eyes. He told me to go wash in the pool of Siloam. I did that, and I came back seeing. But not only does he share his testimony, but he speaks his truth. He doesn't change his story. He said, I'm sticking to my story. I'm not changing it. I'm not going to fabricate it. I'm not going to back down on my truth, because that is what has set me free, my truth. And so he speaks truth to power, truth to authority. We're running around here now, act as though that we've lost our mind. And I won't just say something, I hope I don't offend anyone, but about this coronavirus, this COVID-19 that we're in. And but if these scientists would have left them bats alone, if people wouldn't have been eating bats, then we wouldn't be in the mess we're in. Now, science, you got us in it. It's your job to get us out of it. But I don't think you have the wherewithal to get us out. It's going to take a God to get us out of what we're in now. And so what he said to them, y'all got all this stuff, and you're talking about who did what, but all I want to know, I was blind, and now I see. But and you can see because, watch this, everybody saw his transformation. Everybody saw that he had been changed. When you look at the leper who had been a leper, after encountering Jesus, he was no longer a leper. He was changed. And you and I can even be a witness to this blind man, that we were in a certain condition, in a certain state, and we've been changed. Thank God for change. And that's what this country needs, change. We need leaders who are willing to change, to sit down and to compromise, to work together for the betterment of all. And not until America recognized the black man as a man, not 3/5, not a half or a quarter, but a whole man. Psalm 8 said, what is man that God is mindful of him? What is man that God is mindful? That God have visited man, meaning that God has a love affair with man. And he didn't just make the white man a man, or the yellow man, or the red man. He made all men. And thank God that he does not discriminate on who we are. God bless you. Continue to look up. I'll look unto the hills whence cometh my help. And all of my help come from God.